Howdy, it's Tuesday. Anyway, March 2nd, I think. I don't know. One day seems like the next. So this is the driver's side rear knee action shock absorber. And I'm going to install it along with the passenger side. Oh, look at that. There's light shining on it. Where those two holes go is where the bolts go. I pulled the taper fit pin out of the joint at the end of the shock absorber arm here, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But let's get busy. We have some tight quarters under here, but it's not so tight that I can't get into it. Now let's put the camera over here. Oh yeah, I think hopefully it's not too dark. If it isn't too dark, then I'll continue on with the video and put it up online. So hopefully you guys can see. Oh, you know what? Anybody ever see Dumb and Dumber? Remember when they were going up the steps? And Lloyd gets whacked in the ass with a cane and he goes, "Time out! Time out." Okay, I got my little drop light I've had for about 25 years. Brought it under here. And now we have more light. So I'm not afraid to admit when I make a mistake. And I thought that the bolts went through the frame. It's been a while since I've installed these. I thought they went through the frame inside with the nuts on the inside, but they don't. They go this way. And then these, yep, okay, let's try this again. So I need to have yeah, that's right. Okay. I need to have the lock washers on the outside. Okay. They're kind of a little bit of a tapered fit, and I didn't know that. So there's that. This does kind of make it a little easier working by braille. Okay, now this square plate goes outside, and then a lock washer, and then the damn big nut. There we go. Nice. Then the next plate, readjust a little bit here, and there, und the lock washer, und the nut. And I'm going to have to get a short extension because the impact won't fit between the wheel and okay, and I got to get a different wrench. So instead of having you guys hang up here forever, all right, so I have a 7/8 inch wrench on the outside and a 13/16 inch socket on the inside for my impact. And a lot of mechanics, if they see this, are gonna go, "You're doing it wrong, boy, you're doing it wrong." You're supposed to use the impact on the nut, not the bolt. You get a better tight. You don't twist the bolt, so it's going to be loud. that's it for that one. And that's it for that one. And are tight and installed. I'll have to get some touch-up paint on those heads of them bolts. I don't know if you can see up in there. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You heard everything drive home, so be right back. Okay. I retrieved the left shock absorber. Now you're on top of, sorry, not the left. Jesus Christ, what's the matter with me? Starboard side. Right side. We just installed the port side. Left. Ouch. That was my knuckle on my thumb. All I was doing was, because of the paint on the shanks of the bolts, all I was doing was beating them in just a bit into the shock. Okay. Plate number 1 and lock washer. And now the nut. Plate number 2. You know, the funny thing about these shock absorbers, they're only on the Chevy and GMC line of 1.5 ton Chevys and the 2.5 ton GMCs. Only the Chevys have these shocks. The GMCs are a tandem axle, and because of the bogie arrangement and the suspension travel up and down arrangement between the front and rear axle, there just isn't any place to mount a shock to have it effective. So they weren't emitted. I mean, they were emitted on the Jimmies. Okay, here we go. Go. It's tight between the tire and the chassis. So the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to get, let me pull you down here. I don't want to get the wrench stuck like that on the leaf springs. Otherwise I'll have to loosen everything and get it out of there. So, here we go. Okay. Okay. So the other day I was talking about these shocks making a gurgling sound when the compressor shuts off, which it just did. Let's see if we can hear if this shock makes a gurgling sound. Hear that right up at the top? That's pretty normal. There aren't any springs in here. This is strictly hydraulic action. And the thing is, the faster you try to move it, the more resistance is created inside the shock absorber. They're very, very efficient. Oh, here we go. Let me get you up close. You can hear the sound of the fluid. Hear that? Now this arm is going to sit just about like that. This portion will be parallel in relation with the chassis. Let's check the driver's side. Wow, that's pretty awesome. See, these were on a truck that I saved. And I've never had them open, never taken them apart. And that's probably the original hydraulic oil that's in them from the factory. This is the little bolt that you take out, and then you get like a, it's called an oil injector. It's like a little squirt gun, and you just inject oil, you know, squeeze oil in like a squirt gun, and then work the arm up and down until the gurgling sound quits making noise. So I'm satisfied. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull off these two nuts back here for the lower mount. But I think I have to take the connecting rod off, which will be a little bit of a chore. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm all set up here. I was able to get the taper pin out of the mount there on both of them very easily. And let's see if I can get us back here. Sorry, I should have done this and figured it out before. All right, that's got a good shot. Okay, so the nuts on the U-bolts here are 15/16. Gotta go the other way. All right. This way. So that has to be installed that way. Glad these trucks are tall off the ground. There's room for me to work. Now we'll tighten things back up. Have two new lower U-bolts made. What we want is the end of the U-bolt to protrude a bit through the nut. I don't have that here. I'm about a 1/4 inch away. When I bought these U-bolts, there was a huge stack of extra springs, and then there were overload bump stops on the chassis. And I know from which truck this is, this truck didn't come with that. So there's our lower mount. There's our shock arm. I should be doing this to, yeah, I'll be right back. Well, wrapping up this video, I've already pulled what's left of one of the rubber grommets out of the connecting rod, and this is what it looks like. And there's the tapered fit portion, and then that goes in there. Let's see if I can get you guys set up. Maybe I can pull this one out. This one here. Let me just make sure the view is correct. That's close enough. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. See, look at that. That shouldn't happen. I just pulled that out with my hand. That should be a lot tighter than that. And then let's see about the rubber. Oh man, this stuff is awful. Look at that. That's it. Yeah. It's done. It feels very powdery. So that's it for that. I'm just setting things up for a nice view here, and I'll do a flyby with the camera and then call it quits. Quiet. All right, so yeah, I didn't even have to heat anything and destroy the paint. I was thinking I would have to repaint these connecting rods, but I'll get these not vulcanized, but cold pour urethane rubber back together, and then I'll be able to install the connecting rods back onto the shocks and the mounts and all that good stuff, and then I'll have shocks. Okay, later.